Hey there, and welcome. Ever wonder how to talk about the future with real confidence? Well, today we're going to master one of the most common ways to do it, using the phrase going to. It's an awesome tool for making predictions and declaring your plans with total clarity.
So here's the big question. How do we build a bridge from what's happening right now to what we know is coming next? You know, whether we're predicting something that's about to happen or just stating a decision we've already made, the answer, funny enough, is in those two simple words, going to.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll crack open this simple formula. Then we'll check out its two main jobs, predicting the future and declaring your plans. And finally, we'll put together a quick toolkit so you can use it perfectly every single time. Let's jump in.
Okay, first things first, this simple formula. Before we can use it, we've got to know how to build it. These are your basic building blocks.
Honestly, the formula is super straightforward. You just start with your subject, who or what you're talking about. Then you lock it in with the right form of the verb be, am, is, or are. After that comes our magic phrase, going to, which does all the work of pointing to the future. And you just finish it off with the main verb that describes the action. Simple as that. And here's what that looks like in action. You can make a positive statement, I am going to work. Easy. Want to make it negative? Just add not. You aren't going to work. And if you want to ask a question, you just flip the first two parts. Are they going to work? See? It's a really flexible little structure. Okay, so we've got the formula down. Now let's get to the fun part and explore its first main use, making predictions. I want you to think of yourself as a kind of future detective, using clues in the present to figure out what's coming. Now, here is the absolute key. When we use going to for a prediction, it is not a wild guess. It's always based on evidence, something you can see or know is happening right now. You're basically connecting the dots between the present and a logical future.
Let's take this classic example. The evidence in the present is right there for you to see, those big black clouds rolling in. So what's the logical prediction? It's simple. It's going to rain.
And it's this direct link, this cause and effect between what you see now and what's about to happen, that really gives this kind of prediction its power. One thing clearly leads to the other. Or, okay, picture this. You see someone on a bike, and they're wobbling all over the place, really struggling to stay balanced. The evidence is pretty clear, right? So you can say with confidence, he's going to fall.
And one last quick one. The phone is ringing. That's our present evidence. What's the most likely thing to happen next? Well, she's going to answer it.
All right, let's talk about the second major use for going to. This one isn't about predicting what's happening out there in the world. It's about declaring our own plans and intentions.
Now, the big difference here is all about the timeline. See, with an intention, the decision, the plan, that all happened before you even opened your mouth to speak. You use going to announce the future action that came from that past decision.
This is a perfect illustration. The first part, I've made up my mind, tells you right away the decision is done, it's in the past. Then, I'm going to change my job, announces the future plan. It's not a maybe, it's a sure thing. So that timeline is crystal clear, right? The decision happened in the past. The plan, which we announce using going to, is for the future. And it works exactly the same way here. The phrase, he's decided, just removes any doubt. The thinking is over. The resulting plan is clear. He's going to stay. Now, in this example, which we use all the time, the prior decision is just implied. You'd probably say this after you've already bought the paint or picked out the wallpaper. The prep work happened before you spoke. This sentence just announces your plan. Okay, so we've covered the how and the why. Now let's pull all that together into a nice, simple toolkit so you know exactly when going to is the right choice. It really just boils down to a simple question of timing. If what you're saying is based on evidence you can see right now, it's a prediction. But if it's based on a decision you made before this moment, it's an intention. And that, right there, is the core difference. Of course, it's good to know that going to isn't the only game in town for talking about the future. There are other ways, like using the word will, and they have slightly different meanings. But for these two specific jobs, evidence-based predictions and solid plans, going to is absolutely your best friend.
So let's wrap this up with the absolute essentials. Just remember, use going to for predictions when you have evidence right now. Use it for intentions when you've already made the decision. And always build it with that simple formula, subject plus be plus going to plus your verb.
And there you have it, the essentials of using going to. So now I'll turn it over to you. Thinking about the plans you've already made for the day, what are you going to do next? Thanks for joining this explainer.